Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. This is a unique one. And why? Well, we're not using ATC. We're not using any ATC for this flight. It's been a long while since I've done a flight without ATC. And the reason is because with Beyond ATC, with FS HUD, the auto comm change is still broken with the 350. And I really want to do a flight with the 350. I want to do this flight with which is a on-air flight, or sorry, not on-air, APL, a pilot's life. I want to do a flight this flight with this aircraft, and I've done one flight with this update that came out for the 350 on, was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was one of those 2 days. I did one flight, and it was pretty successful, no issues. It seems like the frames were slightly better, but it's very difficult to tell with this aircraft. So we have a little long haul here. We're going to go from Winnipeg, Canada, so the northern friends, well, you know, current allies of the United States. I'm not sure if they're friends right now. Down to Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So this is a regular flight that is done in real life with Delta Airlines, not in the 350, of course. I think they do the 319 with this flight, but I want to do this plane for sure. And so let's get started. Let's jump on in. Again, we have a few things we have to get going here with, so let's get this plane going, and we'll start chatting in the sky. So we're going to go battery 1, 2 on here. Going to give it a couple seconds, let it flash, let it do its thing. And then I'm going to go available, or sorry, to auto. Now, one thing to note was that I was actually going to do this flight off stream yesterday. And so I had the plane loaded up, ready to go, and then I forgot to turn on CP or FS UIPC to track it, and I already had my engine started, so I was going to go ahead and turn off the engines, but then they wouldn't turn back on. So here we are doing this flight on stream. Okay, have that all going on. Speaking of FS UIPC, let's get that going as well, so I don't forget. Alright, it says flight connected, flight not started. Flight connected, flight started. Okay, cool. That's rolling. And so let's go over here to flight status, import it. And then once you have it imported, you can go to load sheet, and you can import, set. Our passengers are going to be 276. So we'll go on down here, init, request it. This is a fun plane with its, issues it has. It is ultimately a fun plane. My biggest gripe with it, honestly, is just the performance. If the performance was just a little bit better, I would be happy. Did I not click the button? There we go. If I get like an extra 5 frames or so, I'd be happy. And it's also one of those planes that kind of bogs down throughout the flight. Alright, so insert that. Copy wind data. Then I'm going to go over to fuel and load. And here, if you click on that button, hit enter, 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 then you just have to put in your passengers. Makes it super easy. And then I like to go over to flight plan and put in that information. So we're departing runway 31. Now when I tried doing this flight with Beyond ATC last night, it was actually going to give me runway 36, which I found was interesting. Alright, insert that. In Minneapolis, we are expecting runway 30 left via the Bainey 3 Gull arrival. Bainey 3 Gull arrival. And insert that. Alright, so we have that all good to go. Let's go over to performance now. And then we're going to go back to this tablet. Go to takeoff performance. We're going to sync it with SimBrief. Sync it on the left. Sync it on the right. And then send it over to the FMS. That will bring this button up. Hit that button. And we're golden. Okay. So now, let's go up top here. We have the APUs available. So APU bleed is on. Give it a couple seconds. and then go auto for those guys. Over to the left side, we're going to go to ground, disconnect, disconnect, all golden there. I'm going to switch this over to hectopascals. I know we're in Canada and we currently be using the other, but you know what? It's my world and you're living in it right now. Alright, so we have that all set. Let's go to pushback. It's weird not using beyond ATC. It's so weird. And of course we don't have a layout here, so we're going to be pointing this direction. There's not a lot of room here, I know. So we're going to hit there, release the parking brake, request pushback, hold, and we're pushing back out of Canada. Alright, so in this aircraft, we're going to go here. We're going to push this to start, give it a couple seconds, and then engine number 1 is coming on board. While engine 1's coming on board, we're going to go over here, FMS 2, ATC COM, or sorry, not ATC COM, Survey, and then we're going to bring on the Terra. Bring this back over to COM 2, and we're going to switch this back to performance because we're going to need these tabs eventually. Alright, engine number 1 is rotating, looking good. Now we can bring up our terminal charts here. And does it have anything auto start? No, it doesn't. Alright, so airport, that's arrival. Airport, we need this guy here. And there we are. So we're going to taxi via Echo here, looks like. Or is this Echo? I'm not sure. We're going to taxi around here to hotel. I think it's, yeah, hotel, and then Charlie. I heard the beep, so engine number 1 is gold. Number 2 coming on board. Set the flaps for departure, set the auto brakes. And we're cruising up to flight level 390. And since we don't have, we're going to go into grass. Since we don't have ATC for this flight, we can just go cruise all the way on up. I overestimated the pushback a bit. I'm starting to think the issue with the maps, with the pushback toolbar thing here, isn't so much the sim. I think I don't think it can read third-party add-ons. So this airport's a third party. I'm gonna have to start researching that because I forgot that I had this airport, so I downloaded it again this morning. Last night I did have the pushback, like the visual, the chart visual. So I think it can't read third party. And for the life of me, I can't remember what's going on with the paid version, the Aerosoft version, because I own that. All call. Taxi lights are on. Master switch is off. Beacon is on. And we're rolling. It's gonna be one of the fastest rolls we've had. So tomorrow the CRJ update comes out for 2020 and 2024. The question I have is, I own the CRJ via the marketplace, the in-store marketplace. So is it going to be available tomorrow, or is there going to be a delay? You know, did they give it to Asobo so that it can get up there or not? Now I know Aerosoft has a good connection with Microsoft, so I'm hoping so. Unfortunately, I work earlier tomorrow, so I will not have a stream tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. And Wednesday is a podcast recording day. So we'll kind of see. I'm thinking Thursday. is when I'll be able to stream the CRJ flights. Or flight. Kind of screwed this taxiing up a little bit. But so I was trying to practice with the CRJ yesterday in 2024. And you've seen I've done a stream before with the CRJ. I've got videos up about the CRJ here in 2024. But for some reason, both the PMDG 737 and the CRJ no longer work. And based on what I'm reading via the Discord, the PMDG Discord, others are having the same issue. Some have had success by uninstalling 2024, reinstalling it, the same with PMDG. And that apparently works. Some say it was the nav data that was updated. So if you roll back or swap folders, it works. I have not had either work. I tried a full reinstall of 2024 and the PMDG, and none of that seemed to work. So that's unfortunate. Now, it's saying destination fuel on board is not enough, which I find odd. But we'll be fine. Alright, on departure, we're going to swing to the left. Alright, here we are. Landing lights are on, checked. Good. Bring up the throttles. 2 flex. And we're flexing. Good engine sounds. Rotating about 146. A little bit of wind coming from the left.
V1.
Rotating. Just pull back ever so slightly. I forgot I was going to put on the yoke cam. My bad, sorry. Actually, I can still do it. Alright, yoke cam is on board. Gear coming up. Swinging over to the left. Flaps coming up. Gear going to climb mode. Spoilers are being disarmed. Alright, good departure so far. And we're going to go direct to... what is that? Alto. Let's go... let's see, I can't read this far. Whoops, cancel. Oh, I'm screwing something up. What am I doing here? I can't see. Alright. Alto. Insert next waypoint. Oh, here we go. Direct. Alright, now we have visual. The sounds in this plane are really cool. Like, they sound really, really nice. I guess that's one benefit of not using ATC today. Bring the nose down just a little bit. I did a flight with the 737 MAX, the Asobo one, was it yesterday or Saturday night? I'm not sure. But it was a pretty good flight. You know, it still has weird elevator issues, right? The trim is a little too aggressive. But if you take that out, the plane performs pretty good. You just got to be really gentle on the rudder. Not rudder, on the trim. Alright, coming up on 8,000. Still hand flying this aircraft. Performance is really, really good. Let me see what I'm getting. Sitting at 78, 83, so high 70s, low 80s. It's pretty damn good. This is, of course, with frame gen on. Alright, coming up on 10,000. 10,000, those are going to come down a little bit so we can gain some altitude. Or, sorry, gain some speed. And landing lights, taxi lights are going to come off. I'm going to verify it up here. Off position. Good. And looking good. Alright, AP going to come on. That means yoke cam can go away. And let's enjoy our departure out of Canada. The Sutters on departure here. I think this is the Red River. This separates North Dakota and Minnesota. I think that's the Red River. I could be completely wrong. Alright, departure's looking really good. So, let's go into here real quick. Let's set up our arrival information. So, Minneapolis, Bainey 3 arrival. Bainey 3, this guy here. And approach, we're going to be doing runway 30 left. There. Airport is going to be this one here. And we can go to Minneapolis now. Starred, and now we have we have 2 airport information. That's fine. We have our airports. Then we go to en route here. And I wish this like saved, but it doesn't. So you can hit this button, and then you can go to I like to go night, and there we go. Zoom on out. Crossing into the next airspace. It's the Minnesota airspace, Minneapolis airspace, I should say. Momentarily. But we don't have ATC, so that doesn't matter. Alright, coming up in 18,000. So my experiment using, what's it called? Just Traffic. So I had switched over to Just Traffic's. Not Just Traffic, what is it? Maybe it is Just Traffic. FS Traffic? FS Traffic. Switched over to FS Traffic with Beyond ATC from FSLTL. And I was testing to see if performance was any different, and I haven't noticed any difference. So I don't think FSLTL is actually a problem. It was brought up in a couple different Discords in the flight. I think it's also in the Flight Sim forum that people were reporting that maybe there was issues with it. At least in my initial studies, nothing that I could say, yeah, definitively that is an issue. Not at all. So I might switch back over. to FSLTL, just because there is arrivals at 15:03, so about 50 minutes. Just because there's cargo with FSLTL, and there isn't with FS traffic. I like the cargos, for sure. But honestly, the last couple days, I haven't done a whole lot of flight simming. Actually, I want to check now because I'm curious. So I can look at my log with a pilot's life, because I think I've done every flight with a pilot's life. So let's go back to the 20th. So since the 20th, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today, this would be 6. So in 4 days, I've done 6 flights, which is very uncharacteristic for me, as I normally do 2 to 3 flights a day. Okay, so normally I'd be at 8. So I'm down, this is number 6, but so I'm down 2. And why that is because Assassin's Creed Shadows, it is a fantastic game. I'm having a blast. I have like 13 hours into the game, and I'm having a blast playing it. I've played every Assassin's Creed game since Origins. So I played all the open world, quote unquote, the big open world Assassin's Creed games. And Origins I played, but I didn't put a lot of hours into it because I didn't really care for the story so much. Odyssey I loved to death. I loved it visually, I loved the story. It was one where I put a lot of hours into it, and then I didn't beat it. I got so far and I stopped playing it. And I got back into it, got excited, beat it, and then I played it again and beat it again. I couldn't believe I played it twice. Being such a big world. The second time, of course, was pretty much just a story mode. I wasn't doing any of the side stuff. My first one, though, was all the side missions and whatnot. And then Valhalla came out a couple years back. What, 4 years ago? And my wife and I both took the day off to play it. Actually, I think I had the day off already. She had taken a day off. We played it separately. And it was interesting to see how far we got with the story and quests and all that jazz, because we play very differently. And it's cool to have conversations about it. And surprisingly, what the coolest thing about Valhalla is that you felt like you had a lot of weight. You know, every attack was just brute strength, and it was so cool, so vicious. It's just like, holy crap. That was amazing. And the story was pretty decent. I wasn't as into that story as I was with Odyssey. And then there was all the press with Shadows, and I don't know enough. I don't know anything about the samurai history. I virtually know nothing. The most I know about samurai is like Ninja Turtles. I kid you not. I know very little about the Asian culture. Very, very little. And so, there's this hot press about, well, you got this young, whatever, 15, 14 or 15-year-old, a 16-year-old girl, and then you have this African-American, why is there this African-American as the lead in an Asian descent, origin story for Assassin's Creed, and everyone's calling it a DEI. And I found out not too long ago that apparently the story is real. So then I did some research into the story, and all this is all based on documentations that were left, letters, anything painted. But this guy existed. The main character in there, he existed. He was a real person. And obviously they have to make the character a little bit different because it's a game and today and all that jazz. So they had to make some adjustments and whatnot. But with that said, like, the story is very, very good, incredible, and I think it was the perfect fit. I think it's the perfect character, the perfect story for this game. There are hundreds of thousands of other stories they could have picked, and who knows, it could have been better, it could have been worse, but for what they found, I think it's a fantastic story. And it's one of the few Assassin's Creed games where I'm like, wow, from the get-go, I was sucked into that story. And I understand there are some people like, well, the gameplay's weird, and the two characters are so dynamic. They're so different from each other. The, the the female, she is old school Assassin's Creed. She's old school, hide in the shadows and assassinate. Whereas the guy is just brute strength. Think of it like Kratos. He just goes in there and just beats the heck out of everyone with just massive anger. So they play very differently, and you can interchange quests with them. It's very cool, very cool. Right now I'm focused on building up more skills so I can unlock some more stuff. But like I said, I got about 13 hours into it, and I'm having a blast. Having a blast. I bought it through Green Man Gaming. It's like $57 on there for the PC. Well worth the purchase. Well worth the purchase. We'll see if the CRJ can pull me away from Assassin's Creed. Thankfully with Assassin's Creed, you don't need to put hours into it. It is very dangerous though, because I lost like 2 hours into it on, I think it was Saturday night. I couldn't believe what time it was. I was like, geez, I don't know what happened. And I didn't get anything done. I do apologize for not getting a schedule up sooner. I wasn't sure if I was going to stream this morning or not. It was kind of all to be determined. But like I said, CRJ will probably be Thursday. I highly doubt it will be a nighttime stream. Alright, getting close to top of climb. And then we have just a short little climb into Minneapolis. Got about, what? 38 minutes or so before we're scheduled to be on the ground. It's not a super long haul. It's 343 nautical miles, but it's one of the longer ones for me. So going back to the CRJ, so I really want to, I'm trying to get myself up to skill level again, because it's been a while since I've consistently used the CRJ. Since it's not working anymore in 2024, I went back and did a flight in 2020. And the flight physics were so different. It was crazy. Like, I know I don't have the sensitivity dialed in as well with my alpha in 2020 as I do now in 2024, but it's just felt so different. It was so weird. Like the CRJ in 2020 kept kind of bouncing up and down on approach, and I couldn't get it to like just calm down. Whereas in 2024, the flights I've done with it were pretty good. Like, I was blown away how much smoother of control I had in 2024. Then it might be the flight dynamics, you know, aren't you know, they're not using the 2020 flight dynamics. So we'll see what happens with the update that comes out tomorrow. I do want to do a CRJ, an E-Jet flight at some point. That's potentially coming out for 2024 in the summer or fall. I do miss that plane. And I think what I might look at doing, I know a lot of people use it, it's a big tool, is add-on linker. And the reason why I never used it before is because I didn't quite understand it, I think. And I think I might now understand it at least better. And I know you can do it without add-on linker, but essentially you can combine both of your community folders for both 2020 and 2024. And I know I had talked about before getting rid of 2020, And the only reason why I've been keeping it is because if I need to update things that aren't 2024 compatible, you know, so certain airports or aircrafts that the whatever marketplace I bought it from only sees the 2020 version, well then of course I'll need it to transfer it to the community folder in 2024. But I do miss flying the Boeings. I do miss flying the Boeings. When I was going to do a flight in the 737, the PMGG 737, and I just couldn't get that plane working in 2024, and that was frustrating. It's the lighting in 2024 is amazing. I love the flight dynamics in 2024. But 2020 has so much plus to it as well. So it's sad that I can't get certain things to work anymore. It's almost like they flipped the switch. That's kind of what it seems like with both the CRJ and the PMDG. It's almost like Asobo pushed out some sort of update that disables them. I know that's not what happened, but that's very much what it seems like. Very, very much what it seems like. Alright, almost at top of climb. And then we're going to go ahead and start putting in our descent information. Now, isn't there a way to get wind out of here? I think if you're on VATSIM, you can pull the weather. Yeah, VATSIM. Yeah, so. Uh-oh. Oh, crap. Let's just do this. Okay, so clear and approach. I thought there was a way to do it. I don't think it's in here, is it? Well, we'll have takeoff, maintenance, ground. I don't think this has the updated weather though. So sync with SimBrief. Sync here. Compute. This is for landing information, but we don't have. We got these winds here. Let me see. Let me compare them to. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. 310 at 10. So 310 at 10. And then temperature is -2. Is it really -2? Yeah. And QNH is 2987. Oops, now I'm typing. 2987. Oh, I don't need the dot. 2987. Oh, dang it. Screwing everything up. Alright, runway, what are we landing? 30. Sorry, I'm using my tablet now. 30 left. Minimum's 1023. Alright, enter. Up here. 2987. Enter. Cool. Back to flight plan. Cool. Alright. 1504. And the pilot's life was telling me 1458. Top of descent at 35, so about 7 minutes. That seems about right. Zoom in one click. Cool. Now I believe we are in North America now. I mean North America. We've been in North America. Yeah. We're in Minnesota now. There's the border. Yeah, we've been in Minnesota for a while. We can go terminal charts, and we can go to our arrival. So we're coming in from the Gull, straight in this way. And then we're going to make our turn, and then come in for the arrival. 30 left. 30 left, we're going to exit to the right. Alright, then we're going to put in altitude based on our charts here of 8,000. Because we're going to swing out this way and then come on in. There's 8,000. Future channels news here. So I do have, I keep forgetting, I have a video that I'm going to work on. I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow, tonight. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'll get it updated soon enough. I have one that just posted. How to start the A319, because I was surprised that I didn't have a video ready for the 319. So that is up on the channel now. So if you don't know how to start the 319, it's a great startup video for that. After that, I do have something currently scheduled for Friday, but I might push that one back because the one I worked on last week I still need to post. It will create and post. And then I'm going to do a CRJ startup video. I think I already might have one up there, actually. But either, I'm going to do one with the new CRJ. Now that I feel more comfortable, at least, in starting up that aircraft. So that will come up, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. Kind of trying to roll back a little bit on what I post, so it's just not trash. But it's kind of been a slow, other than the 350 coming out, it's not a whole lot of flight sim stuff going down. Sim update, 1 finally launched, but I've been streaming the beta forever. Well, then of course there's the beta news. So for those who unfortunately did not get out of the beta from the Microsoft Store, apparently it wiped out community folders and settings. From my understanding, I think also settings, which is crazy. So for one person I watched, 757 Spy, who's fantastic, he's up on YouTube and Twitch, but he lost all of his stuff. So he had ended up not streaming one day because there's nothing to stream. He didn't have content. So that's unfortunate. But eventually got things up and running again. But that was only affecting the Microsoft Store, which is weird. I wonder what update got pushed out that broke that, because I know they had the navigation data update. So it's really weird. Thankfully, I didn't have that issue. I also unenrolled from the beta a few days prior to that, because the final launch came out of Sim Update 1, and then it was like a few days later where I was like, hey, I should probably get out of this, so it doesn't. I wasn't sure if it was going to enroll me into Sim Update 2, because I know that's coming out soon as well. And I don't want to jump on that one until I know what's in that, and if it's something that I really need to focus on getting, or that I'm really excited about getting. I know the VRAM bug is a big one that's supposed to be addressed in Sim Update 2, which you've seen on my stream here that I've had that issue happen. That's really all I can think about with Sim Update 2 that I know that they're working on. I know they have the whole list of things, but I can't think of what other issues I've had with the sim itself. It's been fairly stable for me. Alright, getting close to our top of descent into Minneapolis. So I wait until you get just about, so you can see on the little map here, I wait until the wings, on this image here, are at the top of descent. That's when I'll typically try to make that descent into, or start the descent. And looks close enough to me. Push the button. So I'm using my WinWing fantastic tool. And descent in progress. Now we'll see if our arrival time has been changed. Because we're getting mixed information. We're getting 58 from a pilot's life. And we're getting, what are we getting from the plane? The plane's saying 02, so still 02, but the plane also has a discontinuity in there. So that could be playing a factor into it, for sure. Going back to what I was saying about Shadows, apparently Baldur's Gate 3 developer says Shadows has the best combat in years. Very interesting stuff. Alright, making one of our final turns into Minneapolis. And then we can see we're now on the little chart there as we come in for the arrival. Knock on wood, this has been a very successful flight. FPS is 90, so high 80s, low 90s. Looking really, really good. So when I picked my routes for a pilot's life, my schedule for my next set of schedules for a pilot's life, I specifically chose a schedule that had a lot of short hops. So this is 343, but then I have Salt Lake City to Jackson, which is 178. I have Miami to Orlando, which is 167. I have Sioux Falls to Minneapolis of 170, another Miami, Orlando. So I have all those short hops, and then in there I also have Reagan to John Wayne, or sorry, John Wayne, Reagan to Detroit, which is 352, which isn't super long, but you know, it's CRJ quality. And then I also have the same one, so I have two of those, which is 10 nautical miles more than this one here. It's an hour and a half or so. So I'm pretty sure definitely all the ones that are under 200 will be CRJs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 of my 10 flights on here. I have one that is Salt Lake City to Palm Springs, which is almost 500 nautical miles. I'm not all that interested in that flight, so I might skip that one. That's the one that's right after this. And then I have Atlanta to Key West. I'm not really interested in that one, so I'll probably skip that one as well. I need someone to work on an Atlanta, a better Atlanta that's optimized. Because the issue I have with Atlanta within Flight Sim is that it's so... the performance is just rough, and I'm using default Atlanta. The performance is just rough. It's so weird. I think I'm using default. Now that I think about it, now I don't know. Because I have, let me look real quick. I have... yeah, it's default. I don't have anything in the community folder. Okay. I just didn't know that Asobo put like the Delta cargo, not cargo, Delta, what's it called? The building, the Delta building in the scenery. Alright, airport's about 80 nautical miles out. I'm thinking that 3 might be right. So 23 minutes. I'm thinking that's probably going to be right for the arrival. The pilot's life is still saying 58, so 18 minutes. And now it switched up to 19, or sorry, 59. So pushed it back. I think the plane has it correct. Now the winds up north here, we were just north in Winnipeg, but in this area are crazy today. I live in the Chicago area, and man, it sounds like a tornado outside. Right now we're sitting here in the air at 73, but on the ground, gusting up to 16. That can't be right. It says strong winds. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that was, I don't know where that's coming from. 22 winds gusting up to 38. Gusting up to 38. Jesus. Some weird weather this spring. Let me see what Windy is saying. Windy is, yeah, this whole pocket pretty much, let's see, Minneapolis, yeah, they're part of it. They're getting 12 knots right now. Windy is showing us at 15. But the gusts obviously would be more. It's pretty much Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. It's getting some crazy wind. Montana's getting some even crazier wind. Wyoming. Alright, 20,000 feet. So, like I said, I uninstalled and reinstalled 2024 to see if that fixed the PMGG CRJ issue. It did not. But having done so, I also had to reset up all my camera configs, which is annoying. I understand why I had to. It's just, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get like the perfect camera setting, and then sometimes the second time around you can't. Or this is where I struggle the most, I feel, is I will launch into the sim with the same plane so many times, and then when it comes to me setting up the camera, I can't remember how I had the camera set up. Even though I'm looking at this view for so long, I can't remember how I actually have it set up. That's just wild. Alright, coming up to flight level 180. Once we pass that, we'll go back to altimeter. And let's go ahead and set that. I'm gonna step away for 1 second. Alright, my apologies. My cat's been a little extra dramatic recently. She's not wanting to eat her food. We switched over to a different brand. She has diabetes. Well, she's in remission right now. But switched over to this other food, and we're hoping that it's just because of the new food she doesn't want to eat her breakfast. And of course now she feels like she's hungry. Animals. Animals, animals. Alright, so we so APL updated 01 now, and we're still sitting at, oh, now we're sitting at 5, so arrival got pushed back slightly. I think we can clear this one out, right? Delete that, we'll go direct to Abe's. That should update our time. 12. 13. Increased it. Alright. Speed's coming down. Airport's right up there. So we're gonna fly around it, come on in, and make the landing. I also have had the bug that some people reported in the beta, which is if you zoom in when you first load in your flight, if you zoom in and then zoom out, that it won't load, that it kind of just sits there and never does anything. I've had that happen after I rebooted or reinstalled my sim. My LOD's down to 100 again, because I've been reading that is also part of the issue, because when I reinstalled the sim, it jumped it up to, it does some weird stuff. So it saved my settings, but it didn't save my settings. So in the initial boot of 2024, it saved some of my settings, but not all of them. So then I had to exit the sim, go back in, and then it reverted back to my settings. Really weird. Like, it doesn't grab from the cloud right away. So I went in there and had to do a couple things. But anyways, I noticed the FPS, the LOD got jumped up to, I think it was 250 or something. And I was wondering why the performance wasn't as good. I like to do it between 125 and 150. It seems to be the best for me. But I'm testing out the theory if, in fact, the LOD plays a factor in the world map. So I had to zoom all the way out of the world map for it to load in. Really weird. But ever since those first initial flights, that issue's kind of gone away. So I don't know. Alright, coming up on 10,000 feet. Landing lights, taxi lights are on. Let's go ahead and go into our ILS approach chart. We still got a little bit to go yet because we're coming around the corner here and then kind of come in for the arrival. But at least we have that going. Performance went down a little bit. Let's see, what are we sitting at now? We're sitting at 88. VRAM's up to 80%. There's that beautiful Minneapolis. This is the Flight Beam Minneapolis. Beautiful rendition of a very nice airport. A very, very nice airport. Mall of America is somewhere over here, I think. Right there, right? And there's Mall of America. The big old mall. Rendering's not doing it justice right now. Kind of looks flat at this angle. So whenever I used to visit Minneapolis, there's a hotel right here, Comfort's Inn. I used to always stay there. And then we'd go to Mall of America, then we'd go downtown Minneapolis. Right over there. Oh, alright. Coming up on 8,000. And you can see we're on the map here now, so that's good. I'm going to swing on in for the arrival. Now, I think there's an altitude. I know we're on a restriction now, but we can probably change that up. So decel, so let's see, we got going on Jenny, 58, and then down to Abe's at 41. So we're doing here and here, we need to drop 17. I'm gonna go into manual VS mode, because we're gonna drop. Oh, I know what's going on. I have it set at 8,000. I was like, why are we not descending? Alright, so descent working now. I'm gonna put 3,000 in the system. Let's bring out some speed brakes so we're not going in too hot, because the plane is trying to drop us down to the altitude so we can maintain it, but we're also picking up that speed. Now it's really, really easy to come in low with this plane because your point of view is a little bit different. It is extremely easy to come down really low. Alright, we'll get the yoke cam up in just a second. Morning, Irishman. You're here at perfect timing. We're making our arrival into Minneapolis. Alright, speed brakes are stowed. No ATC today. Alright, yoke cam is out. I'm gonna change the yoke cam eventually. I didn't like the way it was before. I want to get more of the actual yoke in. So I'll move it and reposition things eventually here. Alright, altitude's looking really, really good. Abe's, we want to be at 4,000. So yeah, we're looking really, really good here on this approach. Didn't realize the push and pull for the autopilot on the A320. Yep. I think it was Fry who taught me, if you pull it, it means you take control. If you push it, it means the plane. So if you're pushing it towards the plane's in control. If you pull it, you're taking control. It's a brilliant way to think about it. It's the opposite, I believe, for the altimeter. Pull it for standard, push it for non-standard, I think. Alright, looking pretty good here. It's nice not using ATC because you can just do whatever the hell you want. It was all over the place. Bunch of smokestacks here from all the factories. Here's our runway right there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn on the localizer. So we're going to capture that momentarily. You can see here it is green. You can see it's blue here. Once it's captured, it turns to green. Once the lope's captured, we'll go ahead and switch to airport mode. Alright, we're at the restriction for the altitude. Localizer is captured. We're going to arm the approach, our glide slope as well. That's set there. And we're going to go to LS mode as well. Now we can see our distance, 9 nautical miles out, flaps coming down. And we're going to go to airport mode here. Zoom on in. And we're probably going to exit Alpha. So we're a little low on the approach based on what the glide slope is saying, but
2,500.
that's really loud. But I have restrictions at 3,000 here. So we won't go any lower than 3,000 until glide slope's captured. You can see it's slowly moving down, so by the time we get to our narco, it should be 3,000, and then glide slope should be armed. Alright, landing gear is coming on down, the super loud landing gear. And flaps 2. Crossed and checked. Flaps 3. Phoenix must have been having bugs with the A320 and the GPU issue that was talking about. They did say the Steam version is... Oh, yeah. The 2024 version is experimental. Ground spoilers are armed. And flaps are full. I've never had that GPU issue, though. Now, having said that, 757 Spy had a issue recently, but I don't think it's a GPU. Alright, AP is coming off. Captain's got the aircraft. Alright, stop yelling at me. What's your problem? Clear that out. How do we clear out this guy? Ah, sure. Alright, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on landing. I forgot you don't have to hit the AP off twice with this airplane. Alright, so right now we need to go down a little bit more. We're a little high on the approach. Minneapolis is a rough one to figure out. Because there's the water that plays with your head, and then there's the trees that come in. So I'm going to come in a little bit high on this approach. Got a headwind, which will make the landing a little bit easier. See, right now I feel like I'm too low. But based on the PAPIs, based on the glide slope, the PAPIs see I'm right within it. The glide slope shows I'm slightly high. I've had to remove the A320 from the community folder 3 or 4 times just to get the GPU to show up. Jeez. Again, I feel this is really, really good right where we are. I'm kind of ignoring the glide slope on the instruments. So I feel like we're just about perfect. Just about perfect. Oh yeah, for sure. San Antonio? Or not San Antonio, San Diego. Yeah, because it has that hill, and then all those buildings, for sure. Okay, now it says we're right on the glide slope for the most part. A little bit high again. I feel like we're slightly off to the right, or sorry, to the left, so I'm going to recorrect it. Minor adjustments though with this plane. You don't want to overcorrect it. Don't overcorrect it. Now I feel like we're a little high. I'm not going to drop down too much because I know what this plane's like. Okay, there's those trees.
Minimum.
Landing. I feel like we're a little low now.
100.
Okay, you're a little higher in this plane, so it really messes with your head.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
50. 40.
Glide slow.
30.
Retard.
20.
Retard.
10.
Idle with the throttle. Touchdown. Reversers are out. A little bit of brakes. Stowed reversers. Crossing runway 422. We're going to exit here at Alpha. I think it's Alpha. No, sorry, Mike. Alright, flaps coming up. I call that a successful landing. Alright, landing lights are off. It's a wide turn here. Spoilers are also disarmed. I don't think this is a proved turn we can do with such a big plane, but you know what? We're the only plane in the sky. The butter. Well, I don't know about butter. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, we're just gonna pick a gate up here. It is crazy to see how much different performances without any other aircrafts. Sitting at 75, 78. With other aircrafts on the ground, I'll drop down to the low 60s. It's like a 15 FPS difference. Crazy. It's lonely though without other planes. I need builds to get the comm thing fixed. I really need that to happen. Alright, taxi lights need to come off next. Oh, wrong direction. Taxi lights are off. We're parking here at Foxtrot 12. Welcome to Minneapolis. And brake. Alright, we have parking brake is set, right? What the hell's the parking brake here? Where's the physical parking brake in this plane? Oh, there it is. Down. Parking brake off, parking brake on. Yeah, okay. Alright, flaps already set. Good, checked. Go over here and ground. Go to GPU. Chocks. Jetway. Leaving on the jet. Alright, up here and down below. Normal. 1, 2 coming off. Alright, let's see what we did with our landing. So you won't be able to see this, but how about a puddle jumper flight from Fairbanks to Anchorage? Watching a deadlift catch. Have you watched Ice Pilots? Ice Pilots? It's on Amazon Prime. They fly a, was it DC? I think they do the DC-6, but they also fly other aircrafts. But it's up in Canada. Really good show. It's like 4 seasons. It's like Ice Road Truckers, but for pilots. Logbook. We scored. Drum roll, please. 99. Ah, baloney. What didn't it count? You see, there's something going on with the landing lights because it's not liking. Oh, it has to be off before 10,000. I keep forgetting. So before I hit the 10,000 mark, I have to get the landing lights off. It's different than. I think it's on air. All right, landing lights off before 10,000. Landing lights on below 10,000. All right, so when I'm climbing, past 10,000, I got to make sure before I get to 10,000, I have to turn landing lights off. Landing rate was 180. Excuse me, 184. 184. Yeah, that's for sure butter. Landing force 1.1. So a little bit heavy on the landing, but the landing rate was really, really good. Older Fleet. Yeah, that's a fantastic show. Oh man, I binged that one. I think I was on a leave from work, and I binged that one really good. All right, so there is that flight. My current rating is 98.4. I had a couple 96s and 98s recently. It's that dang landing lights that's been getting me. Okay, so next stream will probably be Thursday. I put money on Thursday, CRJing. And then Friday, probably late Friday morning, early afternoon, I'll do a couple CRJ flights. if all works as planned. That's the plan. I've watched it. Love those guys. Balls of Steel. Yeah, for sure. That's incredible. Some of the situations they were put in with the weather, with flying those old planes in the heavy, or sorry, with the low temperatures. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then trying to do that, recreate it here in Flight Sim, and having little success. Little success. All right, well, that was a super successful flight. This plane did everything it's supposed to do. FPS was really, really good, and I'm happy. Like, I'm impressed. I know there are still some issues people have with the 350, but like I said, I think with the last update that came out, was it Friday? I think it was Friday. It helped a little bit with the FPS, but as you can see, we had really no issues with this plane. So hats off to AnyBuilds for continuing to update the plane and get it to level it's supposed to be. It would have been great to have this day one, so I would have rather them had pushed it back a couple weeks so that the plane is actually functional. But you know, eventually we're getting there. I still think it's overpriced. I don't think the price tag of, what is it, $70? I don't think that is what this plane should be priced at. $50 I think would have been more ideal, considering you can buy the Phoenix, you know, all three planes for like $60. And I understand that they're pretty much the same plane, but either way, you get three different bodies for a cheaper price than you get one in a build plane. So, who knows? But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you all for the next stream, which will be Thursday. I'll get the yoke cam in a better place for next time, and we'll see you all then. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.